It's live right now, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
We are live streaming, us FaceTiming, talking about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's, um, I just came back from the States, actually. I'm back here in Korea, and Mayu's still in Bangkok. And quite frankly, I'm more worried about Mayu than I am about myself. So I just wanted to know what's going on and give you guys our thoughts about it. Well, oh, morning, JS. Hello. So, Mayu,
Morning.
what do you
Oh, you put it like this.
what do you
Now,
think about the coronavirus situation?
coronavirus getting bigger right now in Thailand. It's pretty big issue right now.
Yeah, like just the overall consensus in Thailand. What's the number one news right now?
I think coronavirus because every single day I have a new patient from China
Yeah.
or the Thai citizen that they have contact with it is Chinese tourist.
Uh-huh.
One of the taxi driver, he just drove Chinese tourists to some other places and he got
Mhm.
infected
Whoa.
and he has to have to be in the hospital.
So, are people like overreacting, you think? Now they're like, I don't want to taxi drive at all. You think it's getting to that point, or it's just a few people are like, okay, maybe I'll just start wearing masks? What?
Yeah, I'm working like this now because they allow us to wear it.
Yeah, now they allow you to wear it because I remember I asked you first, and they're like, no, right? Because such a huge part of economy comes out of China, you know? The thing is, I hear like in Thailand they still haven't shut off tourism from China altogether, right?
Not yet.
There's no talk about that?
They like the few days ago I heard that they might
Hmm.
will shut down
Yeah.
all those Chinese tourists,
Uh-huh.
but this is the high season in Bangkok or
Yeah.
southern Thailand. So I don't know, economic damage is huge for sure. It will be.
Yeah, I mean, when I was flying to
What's
Oh
your
my gosh, hold
occupation?
on.
I'm working at a hotel.
Okay. I'm
So
not sure if we're live.
yeah.
But yeah, Mayu works at a hotel right now, which is like a concern because you have to face a lot of Chinese customers, just people in general because you're in downtown, right? I'm less concerned about it myself because right now I'm technically unemployed, right? And I'm planning on going to the countryside in Korea, right? To sort of isolate myself from the larger like tourist population out here. Korea did shut off all the planes from China, just like
Completely zero flight from China. I mean, not only from direct flight from Wuhan.
you know what? I have to double check, but when I was talking to my uncle, I just came back today, right? He said they completely shut it off. I know in the States they are as well. I definitely know the largest airline,
Well,
Delta, did. Because, like, on the flight over there on Delta, they were fine with it. As a matter of fact, they're saying to me, actually, let me search for it.
are you in South Korea now? Yes. Ethan is in South Korea and Mai is in Thailand. I'm in Bangkok.
Yeah.
I just canceled my flight with Air China flying from London to Beijing. Yeah, I guess it's a good decision. How many families suffer from this situation with
So everything is actually sort of up in the air. That's how we feel. I mean, that's how I feel. How do you feel, babe? Do you think this is. How concerned are you? Are you gonna
I'm
tell your
cons-
work, I don't wanna go
I am
into work?
concerned if some of the guests get sick,
Uh huh.
or maybe we have to see the room
Yeah, yeah.
and to do the, like
Yeah.
cleaning and stuff, and then we have to take these guests to the hospital for sure, and then
Ooh, hi, Sarah.
we have to double check.
Right.
Yeah,
Actually,
and then But the story I hear, is the news I read, it's like all those patients, they don't have a good access to these good medical services, and then they are pretty like older people. So I feel not that concerned. As long as I feel like I don't feel like sick. I
Oh,
feel
JS is
okay.
saying that he thinks the media is hyping it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, I do think it's hyped up. But at the same time, I think it's just better safe than sorry, you know? Because this is honestly the thing that I keep looking at, which is how many cases there are and how many deaths there are. Nearly every country has suspected or confirmed cases. Well, if anybody has, yeah, they're definitely going to have suspected cases because any kind of flu it has similar symptoms. But a lot of the people believe that this total case is underreported, right?
For sure, this is just like tip of iceberg.
Right,
For sure, it is.
I mean, but the deaths are probably spot on. That's really hard to fake. I mean, especially in countries. I mean, I believe when they say it's only 3 deaths in Korea, for example, right?
This is not the dead babe. This is the new patient of the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 304 is death.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where is it though? But I know that when I did the calculation, it's about 2%. It went from 2.2% to 2.1%, right?
I mean, in China, like 5% death rate is 5%, but other countries less than 2%.
Okay.
I mean, there's nobody died so far until today. There's a one Chinese are affected.
So, I just talked to a doctor friend of mine who is Thai, right? He's a doctor in Thailand. He works for one of the top hospitals there. And he just successfully his hospital just successfully treated a Chinese patient with antiviral HIV medication and a combination of that with anti-flu medication. So he believes that it's definitely treatable, but when we were commenting, oh, so we shouldn't have any more deaths, right? He himself was like, no, fortunately, we expect there to be a lot more deaths because um, people need access to these top facilities to get this kind of treatment, right? So, I mean, that together with the fact that there's only about a 2.2% fatality rate in most developed countries, as long as we don't have like a sudden burst of infections, it should be fine, right? Everyone's just quoting the information, like the report of that one lady that went to Germany and then apparently infected someone when there were no symptoms. So that's so far the only information I've gotten as far as infecting people when there's no symptoms, which I'm a bit skeptical about because if she had symptoms on the flight, then I don't know what exactly she did to infect this person. Maybe she wasn't really feeling a headache, but she could have coughed, or maybe they shared a plate or something and got saliva. And there's no way to know, right? So I'm not gonna freak out over that. But what do you think, Mayu? Like,
But I read it, if you are in the same space,
mm,
like sealed area,
mm,
like a Thai taxi driver,
mm-hmm,
and in Japan there's the bus driver
mm-hmm,
and then tour guide.
mm-hmm,
They are leading those Chinese tourists from Wuhan.
mm-hmm,
Those two also infected.
mm.
I don't think they have really close contact for a long time. I mean, but they are in the same car.
But were they coughing?
I don't think so, but I don't know. I don't know the situation at all was like.
See this? Yeah, this is what's
Like,
really.
but they are from Wuhan, and those Japanese, the bus guy and then tour guy
Mm,
never been to China, so
mm,
there's no way getting those viruses from
yeah.
except Chinese tourists, and they are in the same car for a
Mm,
certain time. So
right.
I
Yes, scene.
guess
This
it's
is
high chance that you get.
yes, scene. This is Sean. This is live. Sean, scene. I don't. I tend to say this is live. Okay, so basically, why I'm worried for Mayu is that I think if you generally avoid crowded areas, because if you've ever seen those videos of how like the flu gets spread and how when someone coughs, how the virus in the droplets like spread through the air.
And then showering everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing. I'm sure you could get infected that way, as much as you get infected with the flu. But to put this in perspective, another statistic I saw is that more people in California died of the flu than people all over the world dying of the coronavirus. There is definitely a lower death rate. On when I calculated the death rate on the flu, it was like 0.1% as opposed to like 2%.
Why do you think so that they have died from those just a flu? Because
people
they don't
people tend to just die on the flu, and it's because when you're old and your immune system is not as good, you're gonna die. And as a matter of fact, when I talk to my uncle here, I'm like, man, like this coronavirus situation is getting worse. Like, because people are now starting to panic in America too. Because when I was at the airport, I had like people on the news come out and interview me, and they're like, you're going back to Asia, aren't you concerned, etc. Right? And I'm like, I'm no more concerned about myself in Asia than I am here in Atlanta, especially in an airport, you know? I mean, if it really is as bad as they say,
Yeah.
then this thing is it's like you can't hide from it. Like America shutting themselves out of from China isn't going to stop the fact that they already had people that went there and coughed and then spread it to 10 people and then it'll multiply to 100. And if the incubation stage is 7 days ish, no one's really gonna know the full impact of it until another week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean that's why it's like, yeah, they're gonna temporarily, like Delta Airlines I heard was gonna temporarily suspend flights for like 14 days, etc. That's probably the prudent thing to do, just to understand, you know.
I agree.
I mean, 2% is low, but that's, I mean, I would take my chances with 2%. That's why I'm not scared. But it's still like, I'd rather not deal with 2%, and I would rather not get sick, you know? Thus, I bought this when I was in Atlanta.
You have to show. Yeah.
It's a 3M Pro version of the N95 mask. And I have to say, even in Atlanta, I had to go to, they didn't have any at Home Depot, so I had to go to Lowe's. And I actually didn't want this Pro one. It was very expensive. I just wanted the regular N95 ones. But those were sold out. So this is like, for a pack of 10, it's $22. How much, like in Korea, you can't even find decent masks on sale anymore. Like, can you still buy masks in Thailand?
They say like I don't know the quality. I don't trust the quality because
Yeah.
it's really.
Philip is also saying that it's sold out in New York. Yeah, like major cities that particularly have Asians who know, like Asian, like to us Asians, like I think a lot of,
I have 3 different masks.
yeah, a lot of Western people, when they see us wearing masks, they think we're crazy or like we're just paranoid. But this is just common sense kind of stuff here in Asia. What you have to understand
They cannot
is,
sell.
yeah,
I
it
got from Japan.
it doesn't hurt, right?
I have another one from Japan.
Ooh,
This quality is not that great. I don't like it.
yeah.
But this one, I recently got in Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty. well designed. Like it's really actually small.
Actually, that particular design style, I think, definitely fits around the mask and your face and seals better.
Information is the cuts PM 2.5 99%.
Yeah. Well, this is smog season in Thailand, so they
And
were
it's one of the reasons.
yeah, they already have masks for that. But
Good.
yeah, I like that
Open
style.
it like this, and inside they have like a lot of space. You can breathe, and
Mhm.
then I don't know if the girl when you put a lipsticks on.
Well, yeah, I never thought
it
about
doesn't
that.
touch your lips, so
Uh-huh.
the color doesn't go. You know, it's good. They have a lot of space like this. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Mouth, so
No, I like that style how it seals because if you just get the regular surgical mask, you have the gap in your cheek, you know? So that's an issue.
And I've seen a lot of Korean tourists wear this style of a mask.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
not-
saying. In Korea, that's how they make it now.
Yeah, so I think it's really good.
I think it. I almost want to say I want to claim that Koreans designed it, but like somebody could correct me. But definitely in Korea, we don't have the best masks. It's the 3M ones. They're N95 certified.
Korean one looks very serious. You are like in like a biohazard.
Yeah, but the Koreans have what's called KF94 certified. And it's probably the second best thing, but those things are sold out. Like we try to even buy it online and they'll let us process it and it'll say
And then takes this part.
hold up. Ooh, sorry, we got disconnected. But yeah, some things to be mindful. I mean, actually, this might seem like it's expensive, but I want to know how much did you get that for, babe? The blue one.
This one?
No, the blue one that you just recently got in Thailand.
This is green one, baby.
Oh,
No,
no,
you don't
no,
call it blue, baby.
Okay, turquoise. It's a mixture.
People call it blue, right?
It's mixture of blue and green, babe. That's turquoise. What?
It's green.
It's turquoise.
Anyway, this one costs 500 baht, 20 pieces.
20 pieces for $15, right?
So one piece per run. Yeah. Actually 1,000. I don't know. 5,570 baht.
Oh, Sean.
$1 per piece.
이분은 일본 사람이고 저는 한국 사람이에요. Anyways, this is $22, so I think it's a good deal. That's why I bought it. Otherwise, I would not spend $22 on
How many hours can you wear that one?
this one. Based on what I read, basically, you can wear it as long as it doesn't expire, which is 2024 for this one.
How could it be possible?
It is possible. And then they said basically only switch it once this gets soiled and it becomes hard to breathe. So as long as you keep it dry and such, there's really technically no expiration date. And the other thing that I like about this, babe, is it has this valve here. So when you breathe in, it filters through here, but when you breathe out, it lets all the humidity come out of here, right? So it's gonna keep this drier and functioning a lot longer. And
Make you look really serious.
it's super serious. And compared to other this is like triple layered. Like, boom. I can now see why 3M masks are expensive. You know, but
You put this way, like
Yeah.
goggles.
you know I'm not gonna use it quite yet. I'm like saving this for like doomsday scenario. But for now, I'm sort of okay with the KF94 surgical mask. Because quite frankly, this is only effective if you get a complete seal and you maintain that complete seal. But in everyday life, like I'm gonna go and then I'm gonna eat something, or they want to verify my face, so I have to take it off. So that's why in airports this was almost useless because they keep making you take it off everywhere you go, you know?
Yeah.
And you're gonna get infected anyway. So the only thing masks were good for is like maybe big droplets, direct droplets when they cough, like it'll maybe soak it up a little bit. But when it gets super serious, I was gonna use this because once you achieve a complete seal and you're not gonna take it off, then it would even help in situations like being in a bus or a taxi where the virus is going to be circulating. That's my mindset. That's why I invested in this right now, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be sold out by the time it does get serious, you know? But yeah, it's crazy. In China, like the mask you have, like 10 of them were being sold for over hundreds of dollars, you know? And in Korea, it's like they doubled the price already. And you, even if you want to buy it, you can't get it. It's crazy. So, but I mean,
I told
that's.
you, right? I bought a lot of masks for my Chinese friend because she
Mm,
doesn't have a good access to buying a new one.
uh-huh.
Now I cannot send EMS
Because,
package
yeah,
to
they,
China because they suspended the service, right?
yeah. You know what else was really hard to get? In Korea that was sold out. I went to four different 7-Elevens, and eventually I went to Olive Young, which is a pharmaceutical, like a cosmetic place, and I found it, which were sanitary wipes.
Okay.
I mean, you would think this is easy to find because in the States it is, but in Korea, most of the baby wipes are for cosmetic. They're like water based, so it and no alcohol, so it's good for like wiping your face or baby's butts, etc. So these sanitary.
Proven to protect against the virus.
Hello. Okay, so we're reading comments. Are these masks proven to protect against viruses? Okay, so generally they'll definitely protect against you inhaling it, but there's reports that the infection can also spread for your eyes.
By eyes.
Yeah. So there's only so much you can do. Like there's funny pictures, but it makes sense. People are walking around with swimming goggles. The Chinese have those like 5-liter water bottles like that
They
cover
wear
the whole head like a armor.
like head condom. This.
Yeah. And that's why, I couple it with this, because if I have an itch in my eyes, I don't want to use my fingers because I'm constantly touching things, right? And I could have had a bit of the virus. So I try to maintain relatively good hygienes. Both me and Mayu just tend to wear really big glasses because of the dust. And it won't completely stop it when I'm in an enclosed space. But he's like, just walk around in full scuba outfit.
Yeah, fully protected.
Honestly,
Just scuba,
no, it's
fully protected.
it's not like that, but I do something similar.
You can
So
even use the oxygen mask.
what's horrible is in the winter we have to wear like layers of jackets, right? So this is the one that I usually wear in the very top. But I stopped doing that because
Don't forget the flippers.
it's like this is hard to wash all the time. So what I do was I wear this underneath and this outside, and then I have this windbreaker thing, and that's what I use out on the very outermost layer, and then I wash this. This actually, I was at my younger aunt's place, and Koreans have those. Oh shit! I might have the coronavirus.
That's
Um,
why I try not to stay someone like going to at you or have to stay away.
well, I try to like Koreans have these closets that steam your clothes because we have a lot of it's well you guys can search it like Samsung and all of them make it. They're basically these closets steam and sterilize your clothes. So at my younger aunt's place, it's very convenient because whenever we go outside, we get the coats, we
Ethan,
throw it
don't
in.
sneeze on us.
Sorry, guys. Um,
Uh,
but overall, one of the main reasons I wear mask, regardless whether it's this or the other, is I want to keep my nasal cavities and my throat and everything dry and warm. I thought that was contrary, that
I
viruses.
think moisture and warm.
I'm sorry. Yes, moist and warm. I thought that's bad because fungus grows on moist and warm. I thought viruses are bad, but yeah, like I thought viruses will grow there and multiply. But studies show like when you have like when it's dry in your nose and such, that's how the viruses get in. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but that's that's why they say we tend to get colds in the winter. It's not the cold weather per se, but the cold weather kills our immune system. It makes it function slower. And then in Asia when it's get cold, we tend to heat the floors up and use heaters, which makes the air dry. So a combination of enclosed space, people coughing, and this dry, you know, less humidity, and then it just sort of going into your nasal cavities and such, that's what gets you colds. So this whole winter, I've been wearing masks even before the coronavirus, just the regular ones, just to keep my
My eyes are half closed on the picture.
yeah. Now it stopped streaming.
Yeah. So
Stop eating bats and rats, baits and rats. Um, jeez.
I don't know. Yeah, people are saying like the eating habit is really bad and dirty.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, this is killing it because um I don't know. I hope you can still hear me, but it's saying good
Yeah.
news. Team doctors in Thailand have found three medicines that killed this virus. One of the Chinese women in Bangkok from seriously now getting better hope this medicine will work. Yeah, I think that's my friend's hospital. They basically use a combination of antiviral HIV medicine together with anti-flu. Um, if I go into the chat history, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's stuff we didn't understand. Like it was like da 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 da, and then they did a check, and apparently it killed it. So as long as it doesn't morph anymore, it should be fine. Whoever is in the
Here, the
business of making masks, they should be very
Australia rice from
rich.
China have been booked a
Huh?
lot. Here in Melbourne is a large Chinese community.
Yeah. So honestly, I think this is what surprised me. Japan has 20 confirmed cases, which is more than Thailand. You know how many deaths there are?
Nobody dies yet.
Nobody's dead yet.
Oh.
And Mayu was saying, because she's Japanese, she's like, it's because they got good facilities.
Thailand also have a really good facilities. Look at the Philippines.
Yeah, but the Philippines, before I came to Asia, I always thought Philippines had good medical facilities because in Asia, like, I don't want to say most, but out of all the foreign like health workers, we have the most Filipino. There's so many
Nurses,
Filipino
yeah.
nurses. So I just thought the Philippines is a medical like paradise or something. I mean, if they have so much that they're coming to America to become nurses. But when I talk to Thai doctors, they're like, the Filipino doctors come to Thailand to, do their fellowship and study. We have definitely the better facilities, like hands down. I'm not, and I'm like, oh, yeah. So Philippines only has 2 confirmed cases, but there's already a death. That's really bad. Um, so basically, we're screwed if it's as bad as it is, I guess. But I really don't think it's that bad. What do you think, Mayu?
You just go away. You think a lot of Chinese are. Try not to go there. Try not to contact with those Chinese people. I guess.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I mean, this isn't, I don't want to sound racist, but it originated from China, and basically, and even in Korea, most of the confirmed cases are not like Koreans. They're Chinese people that just came from China, you know? And the reason why I'm not as concerned is because if it's so easy to spread, I mean, these Chinese people have been in Korea for about 7, 8 days already, like the first confirmed cases, right? The incubation period they say is about seven days. So we should have had like dozens of Koreans just, you know, become sick. But that's not the case. That's why I'm not as concerned. And I'm just okay sort of isolating myself and only going out when need be, not going to these big events, which actually in Korea they're already canceling a lot of the festivals for the moon festivals and such. The cities are canceling it just for health reasons. Particularly like colleges. Actually, half of all foreign exchange students.
Stop screaming.
Yeah, I'm reconnecting. So anyways, Korea is making all these efforts to limit it. What I want to know is in Thailand, what efforts are being made other than it's just up to the individual to wear masks.
But those people, Finn said you guys should not focus on much on masks. The virus does not fly around the air. It's only when people sneeze that like on you.
Well, that's why we have masks. So maybe what he might not understand is in Asia it's very hard to limit contact with people. Especially someone like Mayu that has to get on a metro with hundreds of people in enclosed spaces.
Yeah, when people sneeze in the metro, people look back like, who sneezed?
Yeah, like the people are paranoid now.
Someone, if the people who doesn't wear a mask, they
Yeah.
will like look at like, why you sneeze like that? Why
Yeah.
don't you wear a mask?
Well, actually, as a matter of fact, in Asia, we wear masks. Especially the Japanese. It's like, it's a sin if you have the cold and you don't wear a mask, kind of thing. You're doing it to not spread your virus.
To the others, yeah.
Right. Like, I don't think that kind of culture exists in China, but like Koreans also have that culture too. Like, if you're sick, like you're a mom, you put a mask on your kid and send him to school so when he coughs, he doesn't spread the virus to other people, right? Now, another reason we tend to wear masks all the time, even when there isn't a coronavirus, is because of the smog. Right now it's smog season. So I just even got a PM 2.5 warning on my phone. The smog is worse in Korea than Thailand. So we wear it for that reason. And also to help with our immune system, right? Because the air is freezing cold here. It hurts your lungs to just be walking around outside. So wearing a mask, it retains some of that moisture when I breathe in through my nose. Right? So overall, it helps. I mean, even if it doesn't stop the virus, I could tell you it helps with your immune system. I'm a firm believer now. I was like very skeptical about it, but it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, it's important to wash your hands too. Yeah, it is.
That I mean, I agree. They say that's like 80%. It's high it's like already like all studies show 80% of, you know, clean hygienes is attributed to washing hands. So definitely glad you brought that up. That's definitely a basic. And that's why like I carry these because not only I'm less interested in wiping my hands because when I'm outside, I'm touching things, right? And then I'm touching this phone, for example, this iPhone. So there's no point washing my hands and not disinfecting my iPhone, right? So that's why I need these disinfectant wipes because once I go outside, I come in, I use this and then I basically wipe my hands, I wipe down my phone, I wipe down my wallet, which actually I recently changed to an aluminum wallet. So it's actually quite easy to wipe down and limit contact. This is actually, I thought this was sort of gimmicky, but now I'm really enjoying it. So, ta-da. Yeah, this, so like it's aluminum, so it's easy for me to clean it. I'm sure it's a lot more sterile than leather or something. And I can just use one hand to take this card out, and then like at the subway I just beep. I don't even touch the card because I don't want to bother disinfecting the card, right? And then I just sort of like that. So
I was in Bangkok a few weeks ago. I noticed many people not washing hands before leaving. Disturbing.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess.
I mean it's pretty much up to you, and that's what it's high season right now. And somebody said they're going to Bangkok, and I'm like, but this is one of the reasons I've never ever recommended coming during high season. I try to empathize with people who come because I understand they want to escape the cold in their country, and I can empathize with them even more being out here in Korea and how much I particularly miss like, sunny, happy Bangkok. But when I was living in Bangkok, I would try to leave Bangkok in the winter because number one, smog. Number two, prices are expensive everywhere. Number three, there's more crowds than usual. And now let's add SARS. I mean coronavirus. Um, but even when there isn't coronavirus, if you're someone that's prone to get sick, I mean, you still have the flu and the cold going around in Bangkok. It's not like people don't get the cold just because it's a hot country. During the winter, it actually gets pretty chilly, you know. So I'm wearing jackets and such.
You should be very concerned. I've been in China before. They spit everywhere and don't care. Very nasty. Yellow dust from China comes to Korea around spring, if you remember correctly.
Yeah, it
For
does.
people from China. You will never have a chance to wash your hands enough. Imagine taking a taxi first. You grab the door, and then the seat buckle before you adjust your mask.
Yeah. Someone's talking about dengue fever. Dengue fever season is actually rainy season
Yep.
because it's spread by mosquitoes. Yeah, so dengue fever is less common in Bangkok, so I wouldn't really worry about dengue fever when there's like many cases of it. The government gets serious about going and eliminating pools of water. They can sort of narrow down which areas have dengue fever and find pools of water where mosquitoes might be festering. But yeah, I haven't had too many issues. But also it's because if you see us, we're not the type of people that enjoy sitting outside and eating. We're totally local in a sense that we generally like try to go indoors where there's air conditioning. So I remember when I first went to Bangkok, I got a lot of mosquito bites, but I'll go like a whole year without like a single mosquito bite, you know? Um, and it's because our lifestyle's a bit different. But I know a lot of tourists, they'll probably go to like Nana or Cowboy and sit outside and be drinking. I mean, and then you're gonna get mosquito bites.
Those outside areas very dirty and the water stays.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, you should be careful if that's sort of your plan. But
I am afraid Thailand will get more problem than necessary because of greed. They should do like the country and forbid all flights from China. They should have done this long time ago.
oh, Philip is saying the worst is Ebola, and
Yes.
um, I was watching Thai with Sarah's live stream or video. I forgot. But anyways, video with her mother, who's like basically with Thailand's medical team that sort of stops and rates these infections. And she said Ebola was like rated 4 out of 5. SARS, for example, was 3 out of 5.
It's really high. Huh?
At that time, she said there was no particular determination for this coronavirus. But if I'm not incorrect from my memory, SARS had a roughly 10% mortality rate, which is pretty high. I think overall cases were around 1,000, and about 100 of those people died. But this coronavirus, it spreads more than SARS. It's easier to spread. Possibility that you can spread it when there's an incubation stage with no symptoms. So that's a bit more scary, but the mortality rate isn't that bad, guys. I mean, unless you're older. That's why we sent my grandmother to the countryside. She's no longer here because we're concerned about her. Because if she got it, yeah, she'd probably pass for sure. So someone like her, or if you're somebody with a more compromised immune system, and you sort of know, like if you're the kind of person that's scared of the flu and you get flu shots every year because you got the flu and you almost died, you should probably be concerned about this. But me, I never really get vaccinations for the flu because I don't even generally get the flu, and like the one or two times I've gotten the flu, it's just I just suffer about a day and I know my immune system can sort of take it. So I think, yeah, this is all relative. I might be trivializing it because I'm relatively more confident in my immune system. But for those who aren't, this is pretty serious because Ebola and, SARS may have been a more deadly virus, but coronavirus so far seems to be far easier to spread, you know? And it's just as fatal to you if you have a compromised immune system. So,
Just turning in, can you give the latest update on the situation? How to avoid facial recognition, wear the mask. If they tell you to take it off, you advise I may infect it. You just for the virus. You want to get sick.
I don't know if you should say that because if you say that, they will quarantine you.
Yeah, they're gonna take you another room.
And with a bunch of other people who may be infected, who truly are, and then you'll get the coronavirus. Like, that's why I'm afraid to walk out. As a matter of fact, after this happened, at least in Korea, what the streets are a lot emptier, right?
Yeah.
People aren't gathering as much, and I would generally hear at least one or two people coughing in my car in the subway because there's a lot of people. Ever since the coronavirus, I haven't really heard people coughing because the moment someone coughs, everyone is so paranoid. They're looking at them, you know? And if you start coughing, you yourself are concerned I might have the coronavirus, and you just sort of stay home, and make sure you recover as fast as possible. So I think, I mean, that's one other reason I'm like, is probably not as bad as it is. The only people I'm really concerned about are like tourists because they're not gonna just they're here to enjoy and take pictures and see things. They're not gonna isolate themselves in their homes, you know.
I read that those Korean guy, he just got infected. He was a first case. He traveled to Japan and he have a contact with those tourists, I guess, and he got it
Yeah.
from those Chinese tourists.
I mean, oh man, Chinese people. I gotta empathize with them. I think Chinese people are gonna have it tough.
Tourist goes everywhere now.
Yeah, they are.
So
I mean, I feel bad, but I have to say, even when I was walking through the subway, I heard someone talk Chinese, and I kid you not, I walked out the exit right before him, and then I walked on top because I don't know. I just try to avoid it just as a precaution, And I don't know, like a piece of me died inside, but I'm like,
but those Chinese
better
tourists,
safe
even
than
they
dead.
wear the masks, though.
They don't. Not everybody. No, I'm just saying this person didn't really seem to have a sign. I don't know. I don't want to risk like walking by them and then realizing only while I'm in front of them, and then they cough and it gets in my eye or something. That is, you see what I'm saying? That's why I just sort of avoided and then I walked this way because there was like a group of Chinese coming at me, and I'm like, oh. And then I was walking to my aunt's place too, and then there was a hotel, and then I saw like 30 of them walking into a tour bus. I literally walked around the block. Hello?
Now disconnected. Like that.
Hello? Okay. Yeah, as Sarah's saying, after all, they're also humans, right?
Mayo Clinic with the flu, and it was tested for the virus because I was recently in San Francisco, and doctor said lots of Chinese tourists.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's good.
gosh. Sarah's like, in Thailand, there were Chinese people, and in her building, like her condo, I imagine, and then somebody sneezed, and then they yelled at them, and then told security to send them to the police. Oh my god. So yeah, that's sort of extreme.
They should take them to the.
Yeah, that's just way like why would you take them to the police? If anything, take them to a doctor. But that's why it's like, but I mean, on my flight there was this little Chinese kid, and he was literally coughing the whole flight. The whole flight, I'm telling you, it was just like, I'm like, how is this guy's throat surviving? And that was a 14-hour flight, right? And I was in the window seat. I was I didn't even know if this kid had a mask on or not. I didn't know if he was coughing up into the air, you know?
Was the flight was full or?
I have to say, even though like I didn't go or yell or anything, in my mind I'm like annoyed. I should feel bad for this kid, but at the same time it's just like my survival instincts. It's like, geez, you know. But I guess I sort of accepted, hey, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die of this. I'm not gonna get up and make a scene or anything. It's who
You can
knows.
just tell the flight attendant, can you get him a mask?
Yeah, I didn't even bother to do that. It's my responsibility to put my mask on.
Yeah.
And then they bring out the meals, right? And he's in front of me. So I know the meal passed by them. you know?
You are super paranoid.
and then I'm just like, I remember the foil. I like go underneath and I just because I don't want to touch the top, and I'm like, I got from the inside and then I opened it. Oh, but it's like it's starting to make us like super paranoid, and I'm like, oh, this is sort of inhumane, but it's like sort of my survival instincts. Like, what I don't know, Mayu. Are you as paranoid as I am?
Not really.
Definitely not as paranoid as like yell and tell him to go to the police.
No, just make sure that everything clean before we hand out something to the customers.
Well, what about Thai people in general that you observe?
My colleagues are super clean.
So they're more paranoid than you.
Huh?
They're more paranoid than you. Like they're
I feel they're more paranoid than me. Yeah.
So you're maybe the exception.
Relax about this situation because sometimes I don't wear a mask because it's when I explain something and then they don't really understand sometimes because I cover them all at the mall, so I have to explain the thing. I have to when I talk to the guests, I have to just remove it. It's easy for me to just talk.
Yeah.
But not many Chinese are asking something. And basically I speak to foreigner which is not Chinese national. More or Japanese. So.
I think I made Philip paranoid. Philip also works in the. I think it's Philip, right?
Yeah.
Philip works in New York in a hotel. I think he's a cook, right? So he has to deal with people constantly in a very crowded city. I would wear a mask in New York if it was me.
Yeah, you have to just protect yourself.
Sarah also has a pretty good immune system, she's saying. Um, you don't. Oh, Sarah doesn't wear a mask. I would wear a mask in Bangkok. I don't know. I'm definitely a bit more paranoid than her.
I'm wearing mask because I feel the air is really bad. 2 PM 2.5 thing is really bad.
Yeah.
If it's just a day, it's fine, but it's been a month or two, it's really bad air. I just want to turn on air purifier 24 hours when I'm in the room. And I'm wearing a mask when I go outside.
Sarah says she just uses her elbow to sneeze. I mean, that's what I do. But now that there is a
That's bad.
coronavirus, I wouldn't
That's
do it
really
because
bad.
I know people are gonna give me the stink eye. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't help. You like this? You mean?
I mean, it does help because most of it is gonna shoot down, and go on your clothes. But it's definitely not as sanitary as a mask.
Anyway. Do you even care about this anymore? This is I care about PM 2.5 more than virus, actually.
Someone says they've seen somebody wear a mask and then open it to pick their nose. That sort of doesn't help at all. unless they're wearing a mask because of smog reasons or because yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I sometimes have to pick my nose because I have a smaller nasal cavity. So like, when like, cause there's a lot of smog and such, then like my nose gets clogged. So I have to like get the booger out like in a washroom or something. But lately, I don't do that because I'm afraid that my contaminated hands. I'm putting it near a mucous membrane. Literally, I'm asking to get sick, right? So, I just deal with blowing my nose and then move from there.
Ridiculous. The common flu this year has killed thousands, and people worry about corona. Maybe he's from America, maybe.
I don't know. 3M is a hot stock in America since they're in production overdrive. That's true. I should buy some stock. 3M stock. This is ridiculous. Common food this year has killed thousands. Yep. That I don't think it's ridiculous, but that's I remember. I said there's more people that died in California alone from the flu than coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I have to go. This was on sale for $40 when I was, and then I got my aunt some Tetris.
이거 드라마 좀 보고 하게. 이거 드라마 TV 좀 켜줘봐.
그래?
아, 2100 레벨 6을 못 넘어가. 5, 6. 너무 스트레스 받아서 드라마 좀 보고 해야 되겠어. 아, 이 텔레비 좀 보여줘.
My aunt loves Tetris.
5, 6까지.
왜 안 되냐면은 이거 HDMI 여기 있지?
아 그걸 뺐어?
빼가지고 여기다가 집어넣어.
아 오케이.
여기. 고모는
내가 이걸 배워서 내가 이걸 해야 되겠어. 밤에 잠 안에 있게. 이거를 내가.
고모는 코로나 바이러스 얼만큼 걱정돼? 이제 덜 걱정돼?
아니 걱정돼.
더?
아니 아직 한 2주는 조심해야 돼. 왜냐면 2차 감염이 있었다고 하니까
아.
우리 한국의 사람들이 지금 격리해서 지켜보는 사람들이 있으니까 그런 사람들이 없을 때까지는 좀 참아야 돼. 왜냐면 군산이랑 어디를 이마트 큰 거 다 문을 많이 닫았대. 그 사람 왔다 갔는데 부천 시즈루이도 문 닫았고 이마트 사람들이 이미 걸린 사람들이 왔다 갔다 하는 데를 문을 많이 닫았는데 가까운 부천에도 있고 군산에도 어디가 막 영화관이랑 문 닫았대. 그 사람들이 다녀간대.
그러니까 그 사람은 중국 사람이겠지?
아니 한국 사람이 걸렸다니까.
그러니까
2차로.
중국 사람이 와서 그 2차로 한국 사람이 걸리고
중국에 갔다 온 한국 사람이 걸렸는데 그
아.
사람이 누구 만난 사람이 걸려서 2차 감염이 돼서 지금
그래서 그 한국 사람이 다시 여기 와서 CGV 가고 뭐 이마트 가고 그래서 그걸 닫았다고.
그래 지금 닫았다고.
그 사람이 기침은 했어? 그때?
그때는 안 했어.
오케이.
그래가지고 조금 걱정돼.
오케이. All right, guys. So to translate, so there's a Korean guy that went to China, got the virus, right? And he came back to Korea, and then he went to, it looks like Kunsan. Actually, isn't that where we went, babe? Yeah, Kunsan.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't make the video yet, but we will. Kunsan is an amazing place, guys. And they, like, Koreans are taking precautions. They closed down Emart, which is basically equivalent to Walmart. They closed down the CGV, which is like equivalent to Edworth. He didn't really show symptoms at that time, but they're still taking precautions. So she's saying she is going to take huge precautions for another 7 to 14 days. And these people that he made contact with are already under surveillance in Korea, so that if something happens where it shows that they're showing symptoms, or a mass of these people who are at Emar or the CGV theaters with him start getting sick, then that would be a cause for concern. If not, then I imagine in Korea, like, the concern level is gonna go down significantly. They'll probably just, you know, wear a mask and practice good hygiene. Yes, it's not gonna completely protect you from everything, but it's probably good enough, kind of thing. You know, that's probably how Koreans will act. But let's say you have all of a sudden 100 people, you know, get infected from those areas, then that's when it's probably time to panic. And I think honestly, that's where the world is at right now. Like in China, like, they want the mayor fired. Like, they were literally telling people, you cannot get infected from another person. They were saying you have to eat an animal or get infected from the animal. They're the only ones that could, like, spread it to you. So nobody was taking any precautions, and all of a sudden a ton of people got sick, you know? So only now in these areas like Korea and, you know, America, where we have these people infected and we are using our standards of, you know, sort of monitoring and seeing if it's infectable in a regular sanitary condition, we're gonna start panicking. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the situation. I mean, everyone keeps quoting the situation about Germany, but it's like only one case. Like, I can't really go based on that, and I don't know the details surrounding it. I don't know how this person was interacting with their coworkers. Who knows? You know, maybe they kissed. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it would be workplace fraternization if that was the case, so they wouldn't say it, right? So, anyways. Oh, there's a lot of comments. Interesting thing though is North Korea is the most hardcore. They basically stopped all countries from coming into North Korea. And that was like a week ago. They took like measures fast. Basically, you guys know that North Korea is suffering economically. They need every bit of money, and Chinese tourism is huge for them. They just stopped all tourism. And it was Lunar New Year. Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year, as some of you guys think of it, is the biggest holiday in Korea, as well as, is it the biggest holiday in Japan as well too? Probably is, right?
No.
No. What is your guys's?
Oh yeah, New Year's, January, not Chinese New Year.
You guys don't celebrate Chinese New Year's at all?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, Koreans, Vietnamese, Chinese. That's why the politically correct term is Lunar New Year, because it's based on the lunar calendar, but technically the Chinese, I think, came up with the lunar calendar, etc. But, you know, Korean workers that were in China from entering back for Lunar New Year's. This is a huge thing, guys. Like, you have to go to your country, your home, like, to celebrate Lunar New Year. North Koreans wouldn't even let their own citizens back in that were working in China. And it's like, it was crazy. We saw pictures of, like, you know, thousands of people just locked out in the border. So they took Okay, sorry for the What? Whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, what is this? I'm like, did you switch into lingerie? Mayu, where are you? This sort of would be like something you would wear. This color. That's what I was like. What are you doing? What, you scared me. I thought I was like, what are you changing? Did I accidentally flip at the wrong time?
Have a nice butt.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Operation risk management. That's what it is. We have a lot of smart people working on the virus. Yeah. Anyways, I think if you got the money, you don't have to worry about it. It seems like they've already found and treated people with the virus. If you have money, you should be fine. If you don't and you're old, that's when you should be concerned. Koreans eating fresh meat like a Chinese would without cooling chain? What the heck? What is a cooling chain? I'm not quite sure of that. But generally, Koreans don't eat like wild animals. We love pork and beef, and they're highly regulated. As a matter of fact, when this coronavirus outbreak happened, they were killing all the who. Have you made an appointment with Joe? I'm not sure why I would. Joe? Which Joe? I don't know, babe. What do you think about this? A lot of, I think, I think it is sort of relatively racist to, um, we're getting. Well, I don't think it's necessarily racist. There are some facts about it. I'm like trying to. I have to say, I myself, when I saw the kinds of animals being sold there, and understood that the viruses came from animals. I think they said it was a cat, right? But then people are making issues about Chinese people eating bats and snakes and rats, at that market. Um, I honestly don't think it's sanitary, you know. I I don't know if it's racist for me to think that. Especially rats and bats, cuz bats would be like eating the blood of other animals. It's not something that you would eat. And rats, I mean, maybe if it's farmed rats.
I don't know if they have been eating those animals for like 1,000 years. They just stop doing the proper process of cooking, I guess. Then now it's making that problem.
Well, it's only a problem now because viruses are getting more advanced, you know?
Do you think that they handle the food properly?
How do you handle a bat properly? That's the thing. I mean, in general, like people who have gone to China, they know that food safety is an issue regardless of their diet, you know?
Dracula is the most hygienic guy I know.
Dracula. But yeah, I don't know. I have to reconcile my thoughts on that. I don't want to. I think it's fine to eat wild animals. It's just that eating rodents and species that feed. I mean, it's like you could eat insects, but I wouldn't eat a cockroach or a mosquito, you know? I'm okay eating like silkworms, for example, you know? I don't enjoy it, but like I've tried it and I'm like, you know, it's not my thing. But um French love I'll eat it, but I would try it, you know. Um Mayu she said Jeremy said Mayu wanted to let me know what I'm missing in Bangkok. Remember? What was her name again, babe? Her name is Oh, Fujiko from Lupin the Third. Oh, Frank is saying greetings from Germany. Hey, Frank, long time. Whoa, Finn is saying the government in my country advise us not to wear masks because a hands up to the face is more dangerous than not wearing mask. We have still not had a single case of corona. Well, when I put on the mask, I definitely don't touch my face with it. That's sort of common sense, I guess. But I guess I do touch the strap, so it would get onto the back of my ears through the contact of the strap and me, that strap touching my ears. So, good point. I mean, I'm gonna, I now, I would say this is crazy, but in this particular environment, I give credit to any OCD comment, and I'm like considering it now. Oh yeah, you're right. Before I go, bat, not cat. What? I thought. Well, in the beginning, the reports were they identified it was a cat that caused the virus, but who knows? You can't really you can't really trust what the Chinese government puts out, I guess. So I don't know. I would have to do more research on it, but it would make more sense that it would have been a bat. It like sucks blood. People shouldn't eat bats. I don't think bats should be eaten. That's sort of. I mean, does it taste good? How could a bat taste good?
Which part of the bat they eat?
I mean, first of all, there's not much to eat. It seems like a lot of
because
work
the
to.
wing part is like, I don't know, there's no meat.
I mean, even Koreans, right? You guys all know Koreans like to eat dogs, right? But not all of them. Like right now, there's legislation. Like it's just like gun control. People are trying to control people from eating meat. Like it's like a huge topic, like political issue. Like we shouldn't kill dogs. So people are polarized about this in Korea. Not all Koreans like to eat dogs, but there's actually like the older population, they still eat dogs, but they never eat a small dog because it's like too much work. There's not much meat that comes out of a small dog. It's not like we'll eat a poodle or Maltese. Like these are like farm dogs just for the purpose of eating. They're generally like bigger, you know? But it's like a bat. How do you eat a bat? It's like furry too. I imagine it wouldn't go down smooth. But who knows, maybe it's smooth. Akira is saying that he thought the bat thing was a hoax. I'm pretty sure that Chinese eat bats though, right? Is it fake news?
I don't know.
Ah. No, it looks like they do eat the bat, but there is a lot of controversy, or I don't think everyone is agreeing that it's bats that caused it. From my understanding, it was a cat. I don't know. I don't know if it's racist to think eating bats is not sanitary.
I don't know, if you eat the dogs, people eat the cats, I guess.
I
What's
mean,
the difference, cat and dogs?
okay,
Dogs-
so of is it humane or not? I'm not talking about that. Like, I mean, you can argue that eating horses is not humane, and you can argue that eating animals, period, is not humane, right? I'm just talking about safety. Is it safe to eat bats? Is it racist to think? Because I honestly don't I'm trying to be unbiased here, like taking race out of the issue. even if it was a Korean person or anybody else, if they ate bats, I'm not even gonna talk about is it humane or not. I don't think it's any less humane to eat a bat than to eat a dog or whatever. As a matter of fact, it's probably more inhumane to eat a dog than eat a bat. But I'm concerned about, is it safe and sanitary to eat a bat? You know? It's different. I don't think anyone is gonna think it's inhumane to eat a cockroach, for example. But we would think it's unsanitary. This is a different concept. Is it racist for me to think eating a bat is not sanitary? You know, I'm like, I don't wanna, I don't know how to, I'm still reconciling this. I have to do more research on it. But my initial instincts is like, an animal that goes and sucks the blood of many other types of animals, because a lot of viruses are spread through blood, right? Such as malaria, etc. You would probably have a higher chance of getting some kind of disease from eating bats. It just seems like common sense to me. I don't think there's anything wrong with Chinese people actually eating bats, but considering now how a lot of the viruses have developed and they're more dangerous, and my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, the SARS virus started in China as well. That's a lot of these like viruses. Aside, the Ebola started in Africa. You know, like considering how the SARS also started there, I think there needs to be some kind of, you know, reanalysis on the Chinese government about the eating habits. I don't think it's racist to reconsider it. Just like in Thailand, there's a famous fermented fish dish that the northeastern people eat in Isan. It has been proven to be very unsafe. It leads to cancer, right? The government keeps putting out information, do not eat this particular dish, this fermented fish. Isan people will still eat it because they like the taste or whatever, you know? And keep dying of cancer. And it's like, is that racist just because it's a particular region that eats it? No, it's just unsafe. Like, just because people eat it, I don't think you should say it's racist or not racist. I'm really honestly just talking about this from the point of view of, is it safe? Regardless of whether it's Chinese or not. I mean, every culture I think probably has some kind of dish that probably isn't sanitary, you know? So it's something that you should consider. I mean, even Koreans, they used to eat a lot of silkworms, a lot. But especially like during the 1988 Olympics, when they were going to have a lot of foreigners, and when silkworms were being sold on the streets, like very frequently, like along with sweet potatoes, silkworms, and chestnuts, those were what were being sold. That there was a particular like awareness, like we don't want to seem like savages to the Western countries when the Olympics is happening. They sort of stopped selling silkworms. I mean, you can still find them canned and stuff. I think you can still find them now, but the Korean people's diets have changed. Are silkworms really that unsanitary? I don't think so. I think they're relatively, and that's why I would sort of encourage the Chinese to make their own decision about whether or not this is sanitary or not. And whatever decision they would come to, I would respect it. But I think they should reconsider some of the animals they're eating. I don't know. I'm totally okay. I'm not somebody that judges things on is it humane or not humane, because there's no end to that. Then you should just be a straight up vegan. I think only vegans have the right to say, you know, I'm the most humane person, I guess. As any kind of meat eater, I don't think we can judge anybody on what they eat. That's just my personal opinion. But when it comes to sanitary stuff, what do you think, Mayu? What's your thing about eating bats?
Huh?
What do you think? In Thailand, cause these memes in China, of people eating bats, it's like circulating all around. Definitely circulating in Korea. It's circulating in America. Even though I think it does have valid claims for how sanitary it is, the way that it's being presented right now, I do have to agree, is sort of racist. But in Thailand, what is the perception of most Thais? Like, are they also like spreading this meme around and also like sort of concerned about how Chinese people eat and their diets? Or it's not really a thing that's a concern over there.
I think Thai people.
Thai people like eat a lot of weird stuff too, so I don't think they're really.
I mean, eating weird stuff it's your own risk,
Mhm.
and then the different country have a different culture what they eat.
Right.
Tradition and what they eat. Like in
Mm.
Korea, you eat the silkworm.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
This is normal thing in back in the days.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think it's bad thing to
yeah.
This is the another people
Mm.
point of view
Mm.
in Western see the
Hmm.
Korean eating silkworm. It's that is what they think, so they stop doing
Yeah,
it.
that's true. That's true.
So I don't have any against that they are eating bats or snakes or the cat.
Mm. No, I like, just to clarify again, I have absolutely no like, how do you say? I'm not saying this from a high chair like that's disgusting kind of thing. I'm just talking about it purely from, is it safe?
Yeah, as long as it's safe, I'm totally fine.
I as a meat eater, I don't think I'm any more or less humane eating a bat as opposed to a cow or anything. If anything, if you see a cow, they're super cute, They're getting killed so I can eat beef, like hamburgers. So I'm really not one of those people that judges on what people eat, like that's disgusting or not. But I am concerned about, is it sanitary, especially in the wake of a lot of these viral infections spreading from, consuming animals, right? That being said, you could eat pigs that are infected with swine flu and stuff like this. Mm-hmm.
And beef,
Mm-hmm.
chickens, they know how to produce like safely.
Mm.
So if it's the snake, it become a mainstream.
Mm.
I'm sure they're gonna produce snake like safely. So
Yeah, that's true. If they farmed the bats and then the bats were only eating like,
seem like silkworm.
yeah,
It's
that's
like,
true.
I don't blame that people eating those exotic animals and the stuff.
Yeah, as long as they know how to safely. I mean, is it humane or not? That's a whole separate argument. You got a good point there. I mean, if the bats were feeding off of controlled blood sources, then I can't argue that this is not safe. That's true. That's true. Anyways, but you don't really see this being a kind of issue that Thais have, like, at all. Thais aren't really talking about, man, we should be concerned of the Chinese because they're gonna continually get sick because they eat all these wild animals. That's not a perception over there. Right?
Some Thai news mention it. Those Chinese people eat those wild animals
Oh.
without properly cooking or without very bad condition.
I mean, news tends to exaggerate things, but you don't really see like your friends or anybody else like, because I've had other like Korean friends send me like these shocking images of like girls eating bats and such, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is why it's happening," You don't have any of that in Thailand, right?
I see some video clip like girls eating those wild animals without cooking.
They don't cook the bats? I thought they put it in a soup.
It's not bad. I think it's snakes or something,
They eat snakes without cooking it?
or maybe steam or something. It's like real like full like whole snake on her plate. Like
No, I mean as long as it's cooked. As long as it's cooked. Well, I mean there isn't like any kind of racism around that, right? Because I mean in Thailand, like one of the most popular YouTube videos is like those Thais like is like in a jungle setting, and then they'll go out and then catch an iguana and then cook it and then eat it, and we're like, oh, that's pretty amazing, you know. So I think I don't know. I feel like in Thailand there would be less like hysteria over what Chinese people eat, because Thai people eat pretty exotic animals too. Not everyone, of course. Like people in Bangkok would probably never go near anything like that, but there's still a subculture of people who do that, you know? And I could probably say the same thing with Chinese. And that's why, you know, I don't think we should generalize. And I think, if anything, I think this awareness would probably have Chinese people themselves, like, regulated by themselves. Like, I imagine, like, the city folks in Beijing and Shanghai would be going, gosh darn, you know, these Wuhan guys are eating all this stuff and making us look bad. You know, you should maybe regulate it or farm it. That's probably, I mean, because that's what will probably happen in Korea if something similar happened. You know, if somebody caught a virus like this eating dog meat, I 100% guarantee you the government would like disallow dog meat, for example. It's already like on the cutting board without a virus. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a majority of Koreans do not want to eat dog meat, contrary to what people think. And I'm sort of imagining it's the same way in China too. A majority of Chinese people, I'm sure, don't eat bat meat, you know? It's probably just like a subcategory, and it's like a special regional cuisine. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna start wrapping up now, guys. Um, Charles is saying, we hope that the virus goes away. Yeah, the buffering is sort of annoying. I'm so sorry for that, guys. More animals die to produce vegan bread than grass-fed beef. Really? I've heard of this though. I've heard of this, but I don't know. I haven't done the research myself, but yeah, I should probably research that. Good night, guys. I have to go to work today. It's worse. Chinese government lies about the numbers. Yeah. India found evidence for it. China believes it's based on their choice of treatment of it. What? Even if it's a bio... What? I missed a bunch. That's really bad, man. Eating living baby rats even more delicious. What? Ugh. I don't know. Eating live animals. I mean, I'm not gonna judge though, because I even eat like octopus. It's not live, but when they chop it, the nerves are still firing, so it sort of looks like it's alive. I'll still eat that. They're talking about The Witcher. He's like, Geralt of Riviera doesn't care. He is immune to any disease. Ugh. It is still epic discussing eating baby bunnies and baby rats alive while laughing. Yeah, that... I don't know about that. No comment, but I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. Yeah, let's move away from the subject of Chinese people's diets, but as far as the virus itself, I honestly think Thailand and Korea were just sort of both waiting for it. We're trying to be reasonably preventive and be smart about it, while also not panicking. You know, it's a balance, guys. So, you know, this might not be the best. This might not completely protect you, but you're just taking precautions. Try to avoid crowds until we get the actual data on what's happening with these people that have contracted the virus, went into public places, and with the government monitoring people who they know for a fact have had contact with these people. And in a matter of 7 to 14 days, when we're sure it's past the incubation stage, nothing happens, I think we can relatively be rest assured and just go back to minimizing contact and, you know, practicing good hygienes, mostly washing your hands and your devices until this vaccine, which I understand has already been sort of found and is being tested in Hong Kong, I believe, goes live in another year. So, but at the same time, I hope everyone stays healthy. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but Koreans like are more concerned. You know how in America you're maybe thinking, oh, the coronavirus is that bad. Apparently, there's like a flu that's even more deadly that's going around in America. At least that's what we hear in the Korean news. My uncle was saying, I was like, how's the coronavirus? Are you worried? And he's like, I heard that there's this other flu going around in America that's killing even more people, you know? So I don't think we should panic too much. Unknown, but let's just hope for the best, guys. Because if it's really as bad as what the worst people are saying about it, ugh, I don't know. We're dead anyways. There's one from South Africa and the other from the USA who are married with Chinese women and live in China for more than 10 years. So I know them. They get lots of first and second-hand info about these topics, and they are very critical about this. One of the wives from the guys is doctor in China. I think it's worth to take a look about their infos to get a better insight in what happened there. Yes, ADV China. I used to watch them too. They're relatively critical of China. Yes. I mean, maybe too critical for my preference, but I can't judge them because I haven't lived there myself. So I actually have a relatively neutral opinion on all this, but definitely enlightening info as far as Chinese culture and at least their insight into it, which is definitely far more experienced than mine. Anyways, what about Japan, babe? There's more cases in Japan. What about your mom and dad?
My mom and dad doesn't really go out. I mean, they are live in the countryside, not touristy cities, so they don't really worry about it. She just call me sometime. Are you doing good? You have a mask? You have air protection? What do you need?
Oh my gosh.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, what about like Tokyo and such? People in the city, are they concerned about it?
I guess so. Oh, Miami Super Bowl tickets still available. Flight $6,400.
Yikes. That's pretty crazy.
It's Super Bowl this week, no?
Yeah. You know what? It's today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Super Bowls are on Sundays. Yeah.
Nissan R33Z Tune is on.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, you are the Aussie living in Japan with a Japanese wife, right? Or he doesn't necessarily, he lives in both Japan and Australia. So I think you would have more insight into that. In the news, I've got the messages that the plane with Japanese citizens from Wuhan area have already some infected passengers on board, and they are all in quarantine. Ugh.
Yeah. There's a sad story about it. There's one Japanese guy who went to Wuhan to pick up his family. His son have Japanese nationalities, but his wife is Chinese. They went back to China before Chinese New Year to spend the time with family. But they cannot take the wife back to Japan, even they live in Japan, because she doesn't have a Japanese passport.
Oh.
Yeah, they took the only son. I mean, he could he couldn't take his wife back to Japan with him because
Yeah.
his wife is Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's sad. It is sad, but I, I don't know. I also understand it from the view with the Japanese, you know? It's their policy, and if
Yeah.
is it humane or not, you know? If it was up to me though, I would probably make an exception for wives, spouses of Japanese nationals, and just
But
require
they live in
quarantine.
and they didn't. I mean, they are not residents of Wuhan.
Mm.
They just went back there because of they want to spend the time with the Chinese New Year. That's it. So I feel bad for them.
I feel
Those
bad.
Chinese people. I mean,
But you know what? I want to say I don't necessarily feel bad because it's a decision they made. Because before Chinese New Year's, this was already a big concern. You know what I'm saying? They made the decision to go to Wuhan, the epicenter of this virus, when it was already like in Asia. This was like this. It was like 2 weeks
was
before.
actually big before New Year. It
Yeah.
was the end of December. We have seen that
Yeah,
news.
so they
There's
made the
unknown
decision.
virus spreading in China.
Yeah, they made the decision to go there, and it would be selfish. I mean, I think it would be selfish. Like, I know I want to see family, but at the same time, I'm endangering a whole population of Japanese people who have been isolated to the incident just because I want to see my family, you know? I think I would have made an exception and not gone. Right? So,
But
bit.
the thing is, the beginning is different. Evacuate. But finally, government pays for it, all of it. So if the government make decision, I think they have to follow it.
I'm sorry, I missed the
Because
first part because
they
bad
flew
connection.
free.
I sort of missed the whole first part, babe, because you cut out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the people who evacuate from Wuhan, they agreed to pay. Actually, they are supposed to pay for the flight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even charter flight. But in the end, the government pays for it. All of the people who live in Wuhan, Japanese national.
Mm.
So if they don't take Chinese national, it makes sense because you know this is from the government. You know, then
Yeah.
they use the tax from Japanese people. So
Wait a minute. Right after the Chinese New Year, Japanese didn't stop planes from China.
yeah.
So you're just then I don't feel sorry at all. I mean, why should she get a free flight? I mean, she could have just paid for a flight into Japan.
after the Chinese New Year, like 3 days later, they stopped from Wuhan. They locked down the Wuhan
Hmm.
city.
Yeah. The Chinese government locked it down.
Yeah, so nobody can get in, nobody can get out.
I don't know. To me, it's like anybody with common sense. I cannot say they're that ignorant that they didn't know that this was a possibility because
But there's
in
no
Asia,
notice.
everyone knew that Wuhan, there's a coronavirus. This is serious. You shouldn't go there. Governments were advising before Lunar New Year. They made the decision to go there, risking all of that, you know? I mean, I think the husband should be at least thankful that at least him and his son got out, you know? And, you know, you can't really. It's unfortunate. I empathize with them, but at the same time, I think it's relatively fair because it's no one forced them to do it, and there was enough warnings, evidence, and hysteria before Chinese New Year's that you shouldn't go to China. You know.
That thing is in Thailand, the government tried to save those Thai national from Wuhan, but they haven't made a decision yet.
Oh yeah.
So Thai people are still in Wuhan with less water, less food. So it's just like.
Yeah.
How many confirmed cases in Bangkok? 19. One below Japan.
Babe, you actually get the comments like 5 seconds before I do. You go through all the comments and answer it.
Yeah.
While I enjoy this nut. This is like the biggest macadamia nut ever. What is this?
Why don't you get me some souvenir from the States?
I did. this is a macadamia nut. What?
You get
What did I get?
crazy size. It's a chocolate, huh?
Oh my god.
We are told that the flu comes from China every year. Really? China produced a new flu every year.
I don't know. I think that's extreme. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4,000 history. It's extreme. The virus was designed to kill the elderly. It's dangerous for older people. Hospitals will be full, and many will not know they have it, as there is so many types of flu here. It's too late. Issue is that you can carry it for 10 days and just think you have a dry throat. In the meantime, you are spreading it.
I mean, I've heard this conspiracy theory, and I can't discount it because it actually is.
Spreading another people, and these another people who getting another 10 days, So it's gonna be
Hold on.
well designed.
It disconnected.
This theory works well, I guess.
It's disconnected, but yes, Mayu, to repeat what you said, it is relatively well designed because it's relatively ineffective against younger people. It generally kills older people, and it spreads really fast where like everyone in the world could probably get it, you know? Like I remember the thing I saw was a video, the link that was going around. I don't know if it's fake news, but about a year ago, they say, you should search for it, babe. I can't because I'm holding the phone. But they said, like, I got this one link. They said Bill Gates predicted that there was going to be a flu-like virus that originates from China somewhere that is roughly going to kill 60 million people. And there's a virus that actually, there's a video that actually models how it's going to spread in 6 months and kill, was it 60 million people or something? And then somebody sent me this, and then they're like, Bill Gates is Illuminati, you know? And I'm like, that's when I was like first introduced to this as a conspiracy theory, and I'm like, you know what? If there was an Illuminati, then this would be something the Illuminati would do.
Okay, he was saying this in Netflix documentary.
He said it in a Netflix documentary. He's on record on Netflix a year ago saying there's going to be a flu-like virus that originates from China that in like about 6 months is going to kill, I think, 60 million people or something, right?
Yeah. It's inside of Explained documentary on
Oh, yeah?
virus outbreak.
Yeah, actually, I think he was doing it to raise awareness about how ill-prepared we are to protect ourselves against super viruses. So the guy definitely had foresight, you know? But I honestly, I don't think it's gonna kill 60 million people. Based on like how it's happening right now, China actually did a, relatively better job at shutting down the spread of it. A lot of the countries neighboring it were taking extreme precautions, such as stopping every Chinese flight. That's huge. That impacts everyone's economy. Like, if the moment that Thailand does that is when I know it's reached like full, because roughly about 50% of the income, like GDP, is somehow derived and related to tourism, and about 50% of that is Chinese. So that's gonna, like, that literally cuts your GDP almost about 25% when you stop Chinese, you know? So the Thais probably have the most, whereas, like, I heard, like, for example, Delta Airlines stopped all Chinese flights. That's not that big of a deal because I know as a fact that Delta Airlines derives only about 3% of their overall profit from Chinese flights. So they can take a 3% hit on it just to make sure that the other 97% of the customers are happy and not paranoid that Delta is flying people and having people in their airports from China, you know? So it's a smart business decision. Do you still hear me?
Interesting.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is like you can't judge Thailand for not stopping Chinese tourists because Chinese tourists impact Thailand significantly more than any other country I know of, you know? So like I can appreciate the position that Thailand's in, be shutting tourists completely. It looks like this virus is bioengineered to target old people. Oh, that's what you're reading. Conspiracy theory. It was engineered in Canada and a Chinese spy stole it and brought it to Wuhan Biolab. It all. What? She was fired and deported? What? Oh my gosh. In Hong Kong, the media said that there are at least 14,000 confirmed infections in mainland China. The death toll from the virus is also rising. Authorities say at least 304 people have died from the virus. It doesn't just kill old people, it's also killing infants because their immune system is not built up. Oh. Then it's not bioengineered well because the world needs a younger population right now. Yeah, because we have. Actually, never mind. If I know in developed countries we have a negative birth rate, but overall, if you start including India and such, we might have a balanced. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to kill infants though. If it was a conspiracy theory. Anyways, man, I should wrap up. I said I was gonna wrap up about 40 minutes ago. You have to go work out, right, babe?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I wear
Captain America.
Captain America.
All right. All right, All Might. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So, yeah, sorry, the internet connection is super bad. Thanks for sticking around. And yeah, I hope this sort of gives you a little bit of insight about what we're thinking about the situation from our point of view living here. It's, to sum it up, not that bad. We're not that concerned, but we're monitoring it. And I don't think you should be too concerned either at this point because, you know, like at least America, they seem to be taking all the preventive measures, taking extreme measures actually to contain it. But yeah, let's just wait another week to 2 weeks and we would have definitely a better idea as far as, you know, how serious this is. But